Hello again everyone, my name is Dr. Jessica Mason. I'm a senior lecturer in the English language team here at Hallam, and I am the module leader for this module language dissertation, which will be taking over the full course of this your final year. I'm just going to talk to you fairly briefly today in this video about our week 2 topic, what does a great dissertation look like? This is going to build on the work that we did last week thinking about choosing your topic, though we very much appreciate that for many of you, if not most of you, you will still be in the process of choosing and refining that topic of your own. So please don't think that just because we're moving on to a second week and we've changed topics for week 2, that we're assuming that that's all done and dusted. We understand that will be an ongoing process for many of you and something you'll be refining over the coming weeks. But we've put great in brackets of this week's title because obviously we would like to show you some really great examples of dissertations, and we've got lots of first class past submissions from former students for you to browse, and you're going to be spending a lot of the time this week doing just that. But we've put it in brackets because unless you have a friend or a family member who has already graduated and completed a dissertation, we understand that you probably may have never seen one before, and that is what a lot of this week is going to be focused on. It's really giving you a chance to have a look through and familiarise yourselves with what a dissertation looks like, what its structure might be, and at the end of this session we're going to give you some time to think about what the structure of your dissertation might look like as something which is divided up into chapters, which again is something that you probably are unlikely to have done before. So just a quick reminder then, and I talked about this last week, but a dissertation is an extended piece of writing. Here at Hallam, we ask for your final dissertation to be 8,000 words. That represents a significant research project concentrated on a defined focus. And that'll be something that you looked at in last week's session, of thinking about what that significant research project could be and what that defined focus might be. And again, we don't expect at this moment that you will be absolutely crystal clear on that. You might be still at the phase of having different ideas, and we are going to give you the opportunity in this session to tailor where you feel that you're up to the tasks that we're asking you to complete, so that if you don't feel you're quite ready for some of the later things, that we will give you time to revisit thinking about choosing your topic and exploring your ideas with the tutors in the room, and indeed moving forwards with your supervisor. So your language dissertation will be 8,000 words, and it will be an area of language and linguistics that's been chosen by you. It's going to be supported by these teaching sessions, 3 hours a week face-to-face, or we've created the possibility for you to engage them online if you are unable to come to the face-to-face classes. But it's important to remember that a dissertation is very much driven by your own independent study and your autonomous scholarship. And I mentioned last week that you'll probably find over the course of the year that the balance shifts between your supervisor talking to you and advising you about things to you telling your dissertation supervisor what it is that you've been up to and what you've been working on as you move through the course of the year. Just to revisit and remind you about this as well, especially for those of you who aren't there yet, and then we'll be thinking about this as we move forward in the session today. Make sure that you pick something that you're interested in, that you care about, that you enjoy thinking, reading and talking about. This is going to be something you're going to be focused on for a year. And the very, very best piece of advice we could give you is pick something that you're interested in. All of the dissertations that you're going to have the opportunity to look through and review today are all topics that the students who wrote felt very passionately about, and I think that that comes through in their writing and discussion of that research that they've done, and are universally things that our students are very, very proud of having achieved and completed, and that is something which is reflected in the fact that they've allowed us to keep them as a store for you to be able to see the kind of possibilities of things that you can achieve. So one thing that's really useful to bear in mind today as you look through these past dissertations is to really see this as to give you a sense of the scope and the possibility of what you might be able to achieve. We discussed this very much last week, but just to remind you, the thing that you should be thinking about as a start point, if you're still feeling like you're not quite sure, and this might be a useful thing as you're looking at the dissertations today, thinking about what other students have done, is all of these students will have started from a point of one of three things that they were sure that they wanted to, or confident that they wanted to cover or focus on in their dissertation. So you might start with thinking about an area of linguistics. So if that's something that's clear in your mind, when you come to look at these past dissertations, you might want to pick one that focuses on the same area of linguistics that you were interested in. It might be a type of data that you are keen on exploring further. That could be anything from spoken or written interactions that you're sure you want to do one or the other, or it could be a particular type of either. And we talked a lot last week about different topics, things that you were already super interested in, things that you would like to explore, or move that interest into the academic sphere of your life as something that you already engage in and that you want to take to a different level and think about academically as well. So again, when you're looking at selecting the dissertations that you'd like to have a look through today, and we're going to ask you to spend quite a lot of time looking through them, perhaps pick one that you think covers a topic that you are interested in, or that you can tell that the student was interested in. And that's another good way to give you ideas for your own work. Now, your tutors are going to first ask you, or if you're working at home, you will be first given the opportunity to kind of recap and think about where you're up to with your own ideas, building on last week's sessions. But once you have done that, you will be going onto Blackboard on your electronic devices, and you'll be going just to where the tab on the left-hand side says support resources. So we've got learning materials, assessment, groups, and then underneath that is a tab called support resources. If you click on that and scroll down, there is a folder that says exemplary dissertations brackets assessment 2, and we're going to ask you to click on that. This isn't the full list, there's quite a few more dissertations that you're going to be able to look at, but here we're going to see a long list of past first class dissertations. Now it's important to remember that none of these are perfect, and we are not pretending that they are. But these are all dissertations from former students who've been very kindly offered to share them with us, so benefit you as students moving forward. And it will be something that you can then have a look through, familiarise yourself with, and we've tried to include a broad range of different possible topics for you to have a look through. So I'm going to stop there and hand over to your tutor, or allow you to start to work through the handout if you're engaging with this session remotely. But we're going to finish by sort of thinking about this question that we're going to revisit that we talked about last week, about what kind of questions you have, are the things that you've thought of between last week and this that you want to ask. And it might be really good to just kick off this session by again reviewing where you feel you're up to on this scale of 1 to 5 that we discussed last week. So I hope you enjoy the session. Or you enjoy working through the handout remotely, and we will see you next week. Thank you very much.